Okay, so we're going to start pretty basic this morning in a child's pose, so make yourself comfortable. Elise was standing up. She looked like she was ready to go. She was ready to run in place. So we're going to start very basic this morning. Yep, knees go wide, big toes come together. Up, we all have to light my fire again. Yeah. And you can do this more traditionally with your arms back if that feels good for you. So just kind of play with it. You can even interlace your hands loosely behind the sacrum, the lower part of the back. Let the front of the forehead rest, drop your seat back. And however you're feeling in this moment, it's just this moment and it's just a feeling. So don't attach to it. Just kind of let it run its course. And let your body and mind take on what it needs in here today. So you may have to back off. You may need to add more. A couple cycles of breath. Inhale through your nose through the back of the throat. Exhale through the nose through the back of the throat. Try not to open the mouth. Try and make the breathing really smooth and consistent and calming, most importantly. Now we say the power of the breath is not to be underestimated. It is powerful. It's your breath. It's your fuel. If your arms are reaching back, just slide them forward. Spread the palms really wide. Make a connection with the ground. There's a lift of your forearms up off the ground, so your arms are kind of set up as if they're already going to move into a downward facing dog, but you don't have to go yet. So there's a pulling of the shoulders apart, an anchoring of your hands, and a wrapping of your triceps. Good. So keep your arms like that, curl the toes into the mat, and lift up to your first down dog. Take up a lot of space in your downward facing dog on your mat. Your feet are about hips width distance, so get in the habit of looking back and just checking in with that. You can bend as much behind your knees as you need, because the idea is to lift your hips up as high as you can. Plug your hands down and look forward at them and make sure they're about the width of the mat and the index fingers are forward. And then just let the head go. And sometimes in these first few moments, holding yourself up is challenging. So just connect to your breath and feel the lift of your hips up off your shoulders. You want to keep breathing them up so you can get out of the joints. And if it's possible, right here, start to find a focal point, also known as your dristi. And if that's challenging for you, that's okay. Just, you pick one, maybe it shifts, and you try again. A couple more breaths, just holding still. There's a lift of your belly, there's a lift of your ribs, and keep lifting your hips. Plug down with your hands more, feel the outer arms firm in. And then roll forward to a plank, and you may need to adjust it a little. Sometimes when you go from your first dog to plank, you realize it was a little shorter. So if you need to, you do that. Also know the modification, knees can drop for all of them, some of them or none of them. It's up to you. Contract the thighs, draw the waist, and then bring your eyes to the front edge of your mat. I find that's a good spot to look. Practice bringing your weight forward onto your tippy toes. Yeah. Draw the navel in, fix your eyes, and just breathe. Press down into the mat. Good. Bend your elbows in half to a Chaturanga Dandasana. Drop your knees, or if this isn't for you this morning, just skip it and hold plank. Re-straighten your arms to a plank position if possible. Hips up and back, downward facing dog. We'll try that a few times just to build a little bit of momentum. Roll forward plank, and you can skip the push-ups if you don't want to take them. Bend your elbows in half. I'd rather you go less deep into the pose and just hold a little. Re-straighten your arms to a plank. Nice, Dara. Hips up and back, downward facing. Again, roll forward plank. Keep your eyes fixed forward. Bend your elbows in half to a Chaturanga. Draw the navel in. Re-straighten your arms to a plank position. Hips up and back, downward facing dog. Look to the top of the mat, start to walk your feet. You can take 2 big steps, you can take a lot of steps. Your feet can be hips width distance or they can be together, it's up to you. Long spine on the inhale breath. Hands can also rest on your shins, but keep your weight forward. Exhale, fold over your legs. Root to rise, come all the way up. Drag your hands to prayer at heart drop your arms. And just simple sun A's to get us going this morning. Stretch the arms up, look up, dive over bent knees, forward fold, let your head go. Come to the fingertips, long spine. That just lets you set up, plant your palms, and you can just take 2 big steps to the back of the mat. Yeah, once you arrive in your plank, decide what you need in your practice. Bend your elbows in half if you're taking the push-up. Drag yourself through for an up dog if you're taking this. This is a back bend, so be mindful of the low spine. Legs are strong. And then from your hips up and back, downward facing. I'll encourage you to move a little slower this morning. It's like 20 degrees here today. So those are you in Florida. It's a little bit warmer there, but still not so hot. Look where you want to go. Step, step, or float your feet to the top. Long spine on the inhale breath. Keep a little bend behind your knees. You got it. Exhale, fold again. Root to rise, come up. Anchor your feet, contract the thighs. Drag the hands to prayer at heart. Drop your arms. Stand still. Start to link your breath with your movement. Arms up. Dive over bent knees, forward fold. Let your head go. Come to the fingertips, long spine. Plant your palms, step, step. If you're gonna step, step, alternate which leg goes back, if you could remember. Yep, plank position. Bend your elbows in half, chaturanga. Pull your chest through a nice up dog, if you're enjoying this. Hips up and back, downward facing dog. Deep breath in. Deep breath out, plug down. Look where you wanna go. You can step, step, or you can float. It's up to you. Long spine, top of mat. Exhale, fold, root to rise, come all the way up. Hands to prayer at heart. Drop your arms. Again, arms reach up. Dive over bent knees, forward fold to let your head go. Come to the fingertips, long spine. Plant your palms, step, step, or float through your vinyasa if you're ready. Upward facing, you may never be ready. Hips up and back, downward facing dog. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Look where you want to go. Step or float, feet to the top. We'll get ourselves moving a little. Long spine. Exhale, fold. Root to rise, come all the way up. Hands to prayer at heart. Drop your arms. One more like this. Arms reach big. Look up a little. Dive again over bent knees. Let your head go. Come to the fingertips, long spine. Prepare. Step, step, or float through your vinyasa. Just make sure you're landing in bent elbows in your chaturanga if you're jumping. Up dog pulls you through. Nice. Hips up and back. Downward facing dog. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Begin to feel a little more. Think a little less if possible. Look where you want to go. Step or float, feet to the top. Long spine on the inhale breath. Exhale, fold. Good. Separate your feet, hips width distance for me. Hips width distance today. So that's just like 2 fists in between your feet. You can actually bend down and do that. Sit into a chair pose like this. Yeah, a little different. Those of you who have very sensitive backs, you can even take a block and slide it in between your thighs. It's kind of a nice way to do it. But you're taking chair. Play with it. It's good to do things in different ways with your legs separated today. Good. Sit a little deeper. Let your weight move further back into your heels. Stick your butt all the way back. Yeah. And then create a little bit more of an up dog in your upper torso. Dive over bent knees, forward fold, let your head go. Come to the fingertips, long spine. Keep your right foot where it is. Just step your left foot all the way back to the back of the mat. So you're in this low lunge. Yes. So back leg strong. Walk the right foot to the right, just like an inch or two. A lot of times our spacing needs to be a little wider. Anchor your feet and your legs. Come on up, crescent lunge like this. So we're working on some proprioception. Yep, so moving from the front to the back of the mat changes the way our practice is for today. You can soften behind your left knee a little if you feel like your hips are dumping down. We want to get our hip points up and then refire the back leg. Bend strong into the front right thigh, not into the joint of the knee. You're trying to create a strong shape, and then reach up with your arms and look up with your eyes as you hold. Draw the pit of the belly in. Good. Take another big breath in. Take your hands to frame your front foot. Turn your back foot on a strong angle and make sure your right heel and your left arch line up. So your back leg is set up in warrior, your front leg and back leg are set up in warrior two. You got it. Rest your arm on your thigh, don't come up. Slide your left arm up. Grip your right hip underneath you. So your legs are set up in warrior two, your upper torso is in a modified extended side angle. Grip your right hip underneath you. Turn your bottom ribs. Left arm can be straight up or can wrap forward depending on your shoulder health. If your arm kind of comes in front of your face, that's an indication that it's probably best to have it straight up. And then look up. There's a turning of your right ribs. You got it. So your right ribs are moving towards the ceiling. Your back leg is super strong and engaged. Left arm straight up, pull up to a warrior two. Warrior two, lengthen your tailbone. Broaden across your upper torso and chest. Drive the tailbone down to the ground and spread your heart nice and open here. Sit a little deeper. Look forward with your eyes. Circle your hands to frame your front foot. Pop your left heel up off the ground. You're in this low lunge. And then spring your left foot forward about hips width a little wider at the top of the mat. Long spine on the inhale breath. Feet are at the top. Exhale, fold. Sit into this wider chair pose. So your feet are separated today. Yep. Your butt moves back. Your chest lifts. You can breathe a lot. Exhale, fold again over your legs. Let your head go. Come to your fingertips, long spine, create that space. Keep your left foot where it is. Just step your right foot all the way back. Take a big step. If you need to walk your left foot a little to the left, you can do that. If not, just stay here. Activate your legs and then come up crescent lunge on the left side. And see how this plays with your balance a little? Yeah. Bend deep into your front left thigh. You may need to soften your back right knee a little to get your hip points to lift up and forward. And then you can fire it up. I always say, look up with your eyes and your chest without jumping back. Sit a little deeper. Connect to your breath. Sit deeper into your left heel. Hands come down to frame your front foot. Keep your left foot where it is. Turn your back foot strong in a warrior two foot. Without coming up, rest your left arm on your thigh. Right arm reaches straight up or up and forward. Wrapping of your left hip underneath you, a turning of your left ribs, and a softening of your left shoulder down your back. Really press through the right leg so it's firm into the mat. If your right arm wrapped forward, stretch it straight up. Use the strength of the lower half of the body to pull up to a strong warrior two. Open up big. I'm just looking straight forward toward my fireplace. You can do the same thing. Wrap your inner thigh open. Sit a little deeper, lengthen the tailbone. And then look forward with your eyes. Circle the hands to frame your front foot. Let your right heel pop up. Spring your right foot forward. Hips width or a little wider. Long spine on the inhale breath. Exhale, fold. Sit into chair. Weight moves into your heels. So we're going to do it again, but we're going to pick up the pace a tiny bit. Exhale, fold over the legs. Come to the fingertips, long spine. Keep your right foot where it is. Slide your left foot back. Grip the hip in. Sweep the arms out and up. Crescent lunge. Hands come down to frame your front foot. Turn your back foot strong. Keep the right leg bending. Rest the right arm. Slide the left arm straight up and forward. Modified extended side angle. Good. Pull up to a warrior two. Spread your torso. Anchor your feet and your legs. Lengthen the tailbone. Look forward. Circle the hands to frame your front foot. Your left heel peels up. Spring your left foot forward. Long spine on the inhale. Exhale, fold. Sit again into chair. Move the weight into your heels. Dive again over bent knees. Forward fold. Come to the fingertips. Long spine. Keep the left foot as it is. Step your right foot back. Big step. Squeeze your outer hips in. Come up crescent lunge. So it's not super fast that you're overwhelmed, but just fast enough. Here we go. Hands come down. Left foot stays. Back foot turns strong. Rest your left arm on your thigh. Modified extended side. The right arm can wrap forward, the bicep will turn a little, the baby finger will tip to the ground. Anchor the feet and the legs, pull back up, warrior two. Look forward, circle both hands to frame your front foot, right heel peels, spring it forward, top of mat, feet hips width distance, long spine on the inhale breath, exhale fold. Sit into chair pose, weight moves into your heels. Good, dive over bent knees, forward fold, let your head go. Long spine on the inhale, keep the right foot where it is, step your left foot back. Different, turn your back foot strong, grip your right hip in and walk your right foot a little. So we're gonna set up for warrior one here. Yes, your right foot is enough forward, your back foot is on a strong angle, grip your right hip in, reach your arms back and hover. I like this because you can really feel the strength of your back left leg and there's a turning of your left ribs as you grip your right hip underneath you. Press firm through your legs and then come up, sweep your arms out and up, warrior one. When you come up here, you may find that you can sit a little deeper into your front thigh or even slide your right foot a little bit more forward. And then there's a turning of your left ribs. So your whole torso is moving towards the front edge of your mat. Hands come down to frame your front foot, back heel pops up, spring your left foot forward. Long spine on the inhale, exhale fold. One more time, sit into chair with your feet wide. Dive over bent knees, forward fold, let your head go. Come to the fingertips, long spine, keep your left foot where it is. Right foot takes a generous step back. Walk the left foot a little to the left, guys, it may help. Turn the back foot strong, pause. Back foot's at about a 60-degree angle. So the turning of your right thigh, arms reach back. You got it, so hug your left hip underneath you and steer your right ribs forward. Press firm through your feet and legs, then come up, warrior one. And you may have a little room to play with here. Your left foot may be able to come a little bit more forward. And look forward a little with your eyes. Press firm through the outer blade of your back foot. Hands come down to frame your front foot. Step back plank. Bend your elbows in half, chaturanga. Pull yourself through a upward facing, strong legs, press to your hands. Hips up and back, downward facing dog. Land your right foot forward, turn your back foot strong, warrior one from the back of the mat. See if it feels different, better, worse, happier. No opinion, that's fine. Hands come down, plank position. When you get to your plank, decide what you need here. Maybe not 100 push-ups for some of you. Up dog, hips up and back, downward facing. Land your left foot forward, turn your back foot strong, warrior one. Yep, go for it. Hands come down, vinyasa. You can also just step back to a downward facing dog. It's up to you. Hips up and back, hold your down dog, 3 breaths. Deep breath in, deep breath out. Good, look where you wanna go. Step or float feet to the top of the mat. Long spine, this time your feet are most likely together, exhale, fold. So you can play with that. Sit into chair the more traditional way. If you prefer doing it with your feet apart, continue that. If not, the feet are together. Good, really sit into your chair. Press all the way up to a standing position, drag the hands to prayer, drop your arms. Here we go, one more. Slide the arms up, sit deep, chair pose. Dive over bent knees, forward fold, let your head go. Come to the fingertips, long spine. Step, step, or float through vinyasa. It's up to you. Open up the chest on the up dog. Nice mark. Hips up and back, downward facing. Land your right foot forward. Turn your back foot strong. Warrior one. Yeah. Hands come down to frame your front foot. Plank position. Bend your elbows in half, chaturanga. Upward facing point. Hips up and back, downward facing. Land your left foot forward, turn the back foot strong, warrior one, left side. Should feel better than when we started. I hope so. Hands come down, plank position. Bend your elbows in half, Chaturanga Dandasana. Upward facing point. Hips up and back, downward facing dog. In your downward facing dog, just bring your feet together to touch. Just bring them together. Yeah, look forward, lean onto your left hand. Just find a very basic side plank. So side plank can be taken with the 2 feet stacked, dropping the bottom knee under the hip, such as I'm showing, with the right leg supported, the right arm up, or you can even float the right leg up hip height. If you're taking it more traditional, the 2 feet stack, or it can slide in front. Lift from your bottom hip, drive the right arm up, and then look up. The goal is to not let your top hip open. It's squared off. Grip that bottom hip in, hug the tricep underneath you, and lift higher. Stay with it. Look down with your eyes, plank position. You can just hold plank. You can take a vinyasa if you want. Up dog may feel good. Hips up and back, downward facing. Feet together if they drifted apart. Look forward, lean onto your right hand. Find your variation of side plank Vashisthasana. So bottom knee can drop, stack the 2 arms on top of one another, lift from the bottom hip. Sometimes just looking up helps you out a lot. Spark up your toes. And then settle into it. Lift a little higher. Look down, plank position. Bend your elbows for the Chaturanga if you feel like taking it. Upward facing dog, point your toes. Hips up and back, downward facing dog. Let it go. Look where you want to go. Step or float feet to the top. Long spine on the inhale. Exhale, fold. Sit into a chair pose. Weight moves into your heels. Yeah, so this time your feet are most likely together unless, once again, something's going on. Separate them hips width. Slide the hands to a prayer at heart. Inhale the breath, hook the elbow, turn to the right. So as you hook the elbow, just make sure that your left knee stays lined up with your right knee. Weight should move into your heels. Spine is long, and your gaze should look right to the side or up towards the ceiling. Get in there. You got to dig a little deeper here. Weight stays in the heels. Twist open, maybe open your arms, or stay as you are. Keep breathing. Keep the shape of the lower half of the body. Pull back around to a chair. Keep your hands in prayer. Just keep the hands in prayer. Sit a little deeper. Hook the elbow, turn the other direction. Yeah. Watch that the right knee doesn't wrap in front of the left. Hook that elbow and get in there. Keep moving the weight into your heels. Look up towards the ceiling. It may help. Open up your arms if you want a little more. Stay with it. Squeeze the legs together a little tighter. Keep the shape of your legs. Here we go. Chair pose, spread your arms up towards the sky. Sit a little deeper. Shoot up to stand. Drag your hands to prayer. Drop your arms. Stand still for a moment. Good warm up, guys. So what's going to happen now is you're going to reach your arms forward towards the front, just like this. Wrap your left arm underneath your right arm. Just do the arms first. Just pause for a second. So eagle the arms. And if this is unavailable, grab opposite shoulders. When you eagle the arms, just make sure not to tug down. You want to just keep them neutral or a little lifted up. Good. Bend deeply into your seat, maybe just a little less than you would go into a chair. Wrap your left thigh around your right. Now everybody's different here. Maybe just wrapping the thigh around the bottom thigh is enough. If you can get the foot to hook, that's great. Steer the weight into your right heel and sit deep. So we're in eagle standing on our right leg. Sometimes it's a lot easier to start from that standing position. Steer your left hip back, your right hip forward, and drop deep. Now, if you'd like, you can start to lean forward a little. If this is in your practice, you can try this. Maybe even hooking the elbow over the front of the knee for what we call sleeping eagle. Let the head go. If it's not for you, just stay more upright. Keep squeezing the legs tight. Keep the weight in your heels. So keeping the legs as they are for a moment, bring the torso up about halfway. Look down, you're gonna start to unravel into the half moon. So my right hand's going to the block, my left leg is opening, and my left arm is extending up. This really challenges your balance. So if you fall out, it's okay. Just try it again. Really focusing on keeping your right foot forward, gripping your right hip underneath you is the goal. Broaden the arms and the chest. And you have to find your way a little. Soften behind your right knee, lift from your inner left thigh, stack the two hips and the two shoulders. There's a turning of your bottom ribs, a looking up with the eyes, and maybe start to define a little lightness with your bottom right hand. And that might not be doing much, maybe just thinking about it. So right leg is standing up and down like Tadasana. We're hanging on tight here a little longer. Just traditional half moon, Ardha Chandrasana. The transition together will be slow. Right foot is going to stay forward. Keep gripping your right hip in. If you know you need your block for triangle pose, because that's where we're going, bring it with you. If you don't, just take a giant step back, grab your right shin, make sure your feet are lined up, and find your way into a triangle pose. The beauty of practicing at home or in general is it doesn't have to be beautiful. It doesn't have to be a beautiful transition, it just has to be safe. There's a pulling up of your right shin, or utilize the block to the outside of your calf. This is always a good thing to do. Stack the two shoulders. Lighten the load of your breath and your thoughts. Good, grip your inner and outer thighs in, stay a little longer. A lot of space from your hip to your armpit. Strong back leg. On the next exhale breath, start to pull yourself up to stand. Arms are straight, legs are straight. Good, bring your hands to your hips, turn your right foot forward. So now both my feet are facing towards you. I'm gonna clasp my hands behind my back. Inhale the breath, lift the heart and the chest. Exhale, bend your knees a lot and start to fold down the center. So separate leg stretching, let the head go. If your shoulder feels funky, you can always just relax the hands down like more of like chaturanga arms and let the head go. If you come down and your head touches the ground, that's an indication that you can take a little bit of a smaller step. If you're dying to go up, we're gonna do this again, but you can do it now. That looks good, Katie. So when you split your legs apart, split them apart like a V. Yep, slow, 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 slow. Tap the floor and then see if you can bring it back up. Nice work, girl. Keep bending behind your knees if you feel this too much. Yeah. More weight forward, Mark. Yeah. Anchor your feet and your legs. Start to pull yourself up. Come up halfway. Come the rest of the way up. Open up your arms nice and wide so your wrists line up with your ankles. Keep your left leg where it is. Turn your right foot forward. Bend your right thigh, warrior two. Find warrior two. Take a moment here to kind of align yourself. Make sure your feet aren't all over the place. Yeah, wrapping of your right thigh in, torso straight up and down. And then close your eyes and hold 5 breaths, wherever you are in this. How can you soften? How can you relax and enjoy the posture? Is that possible? Blink your eyes open, keep bending deep into your front thigh. Right hand comes to the instep of your foot. I really like using a block here. Hand can rest on that block. You can be on your fingertips. Left arm reaches up. Start basic here. Lean back into the inner part of your thigh. Take your left arm. You can wrap it behind you for a half bind here today. If this is available to you, go ahead and take a half bind. Look up over your left shoulder. If you'd like to experiment with a full bind, the right arm's gonna wrap under. The hands will clasp. There should be a lifting of your torso. You shouldn't be dumping down and not being able to breathe. It's everything in its own time. There's something for everybody here. Anchor the left leg strong. Twist the ribs towards the ceiling and look up. Keep gripping that right hip wherever you are underneath you. 3 more. Wherever you are, right hand down, left arm up without any bounce. Yes, warrior 2. Look forward, circle both hands to frame your front foot. Yeah, step back to a plank. Bend your elbows in half, chaturanga. Pull yourself through an up dog. Nice work, hips up and back, downward facing dog. Look where you want to go, step or float feet to the top. Long spine on the inhale, breath. Exhale, fold. Just root to rise, come all the way up. Bring the hands to prayer at heart, drop your arms. Just stand up nice and tall. Bring your arms straight forward like you're handing a tray to someone and really feel your body aligned. Go ahead and wrap your right arm underneath your left arm to start. Do that first and just pause. So a lot of times we just like do this and we don't even really feel what's happening in the different areas of our body. So just do this much. And you can always just stay with this. Start to bend into a little chair. The weight's going to be in your left leg. The right side's going to wrap around slow. Good work. If the foot can come around the calf, that's wonderful and great. If it can't, then you just stay with thigh to thigh. Bend deep and sit into chair in this eagle pose. Fix your eyes forward, lift your torso up a little, dig your left heel firm into the mat. And then if you want to add the sleeping version of this, begin to tip forward, any amount. If it's not for you, don't do it. Weight should be in your left heel. Gaze is on something that's not moving. Keep breathing. Keep your legs strong. Come up just halfway, pause. Fix your eyes on that block on the floor and off out in front of you. Begin to unravel half moon. If it didn't work out for you, it's okay. Half moon pose. Yeah, if you need to reset, you reset. The left foot is strong like Tadasana, and the tendency is that the foot wants to turn in. Slide the 2 arms up and down. And then once you find it, settle in. Just connect to the feeling of holding the pose and your breath moving along your body. Flex your right toe strong, lift from your inner thigh. Maybe get a little lighter in your bottom hand. A little longer. We're going to start to transition together. Move the block with you if you know you need it. Left foot stays forward. Giant step back, triangle pose. If it wasn't so pretty, it's okay. Yeah, pull up on the front of your shin. Reset if you need to. If your feet are all over the place, it's all about your alignment. So reset. Stack the 2 arms. And then look up with your eyes. The bottom ribs are turning up. This is more of a twist than a back bend. Press firm through your feet. Use the strength of your inner and outer legs. So feel your back right leg really strong. Start to anchor that and pull yourself up to stand. Your arms are straight, your legs are straight. Pivot your left toes in. Interlace your hands the opposite direction, if you can remember. Inhale the breath, lift the chest. Exhale, bend your knees, and then come down one more time. Let the head go. Let the weight move forward. If you want to go up into a tripod headstand, place your hands down in between your feet, bring your head down, and set yourself up here. This is a good place to experiment with that. If that's not for you, just stay, and hanging upside down like this is just the same effects of an inversion. Nice, nice, Katie. Flex your feet, draw your belly in. 2 more. always say as a runner, this is not my prettiest pose. Yeah. Anchor your feet. If you went upside down, come out nice and slow. Meet the rest of us. Our pretty separate leg stretching. Come up halfway, come the rest of the way up. Split your arms apart, your legs are straight. Pivot your left toes out and bend into your front thigh. Warrior two. Left foot is forward, back right toes are turned in. Take 5 breaths to set up warrior two before we move on. Yes, lengthen the tailbone. Make sure the whole ribs isn't turning towards the front edge of your mat. Wrap your inner left thigh open. Keep the shape of your legs and then move into your extended B angle. Use a block if that works for you. Hand to the instep. You can also just have your arm resting on the top of the thigh. Right arm reaches up. And then in steps, if you're moving on, maybe start with the half bind. The hand wraps around and then begin to twist, look over the right shoulder. There's a leaning back feeling a little. Full bind, you should be able to get hold of your hands and there's a lift of your torso as you twist. Stay with it. Couple more breaths. Grip your left hip underneath you. Turn your bottom ribs. Good. Wherever you are, left hand down, right arm up. Without any sloppiness, pull up warrior two. Pause. Look forward. Circle both hands to frame your front foot. Plank position is where we meet. Plank position, guys. Bend your elbows in half. Chaturanga Dandasana. Pull yourself through a firm up dog. Yes. Hips up and back. Downward facing dog. Land your right foot forward. Crescent lunge. Bring it up. Drag your hands to a prayer at heart center. Inhale the breath. Hook the elbow. Take it to the right. Just reminding everyone, when you get to a crescent lunge twist, you always have the option to drop your back knee. But when you drop your back knee, make sure the thigh is on an angle so the knee doesn't jam into the mat. So decide what you need here. Lean back a little bit, hook that elbow, grip your hips in, and get in there. If you want to open up your arms, this is a great place to do it. If you don't want to do that, just stay with this. Grip your outer right hip underneath you. Activate your left thigh, your hamstring, and your glute. Bring more weight forward into the ball of your foot. Stay with it. 2 more. Look down, place both hands to the floor, pause. Use your blocks, think warrior three, but we're gonna go to revolved arta. So your left hand's gonna come forward, your back left leg's gonna pop up, your right hand comes to the flat part of your back. If something's going on with you and this isn't for you, this is the alternative, is just take a warrior three using blocks. This is just as good. So think warrior three, soften behind your right knee. Left hand is underneath your left shoulder, any level with this block to make this accessible. Right hand on the flat part of your back. And then the right arm reaches up towards the sky for the final part of this. Lengthen and then twist. Grip your right hip strong underneath you. Find a lot of extension through your side body. Lift from your inner left thigh, twist open. Breathe more space into your back left leg as you lift it up 1 inch higher. Look down, right hand to the floor or to the blocks. Place your hands directly down so they line up with your right toes and take a 3-foot step back with your left foot. So think of warrior one, left leg. Bring your hands at the same time to your hips, pull yourself up to stand. So sometimes we have to kind of rework our feet. Walk your right foot a little to the left, activate your back leg. Sweep your arms straight up towards the sky. So legs are set in like a shorter warrior three. Inhale the breath, come halfway down. Steer your hips back. Bring the right hand to the flat part of your back and your left hand today towards your right shin. Anywhere on your shin. Press firm with a firm left arm. Lengthen and twist. And focus here on your balance. Make sure your feet are on the same plane of energy. There's enough space between them, that hips width. Press firm into your shin. Grip your hips, lengthen your torso, twist open. Maybe the right arm can move up. Feel like someone's got you by your hips and they're moving them towards the back edge of the mat. Draw the navel in. Another big breath in. Twist open a little deeper. Both hands to the floor, fold over your right leg. Let your head go. And soften behind your right knee a little. Take both your hands and walk them over to the right. Yeah, let your head go. Make sure your hips don't move. Take your left hand and rest it on top of your right palm. Let your head go. So your left hand is on top of your right palm. So the two hands are on top of one another. And you feel the strength of your back left leg and hip really hugging. So your torso is just taking a little turn to the right, but your hips are even. Breathe, draw the belly in, scoop out the core a little. Come to center, plant the hands, step to a downward facing dog. When you get to a downward facing dog, roll forward plank, bend your elbows in half chaturanga, pull yourself through an up dog, point your toes a lot, hips up and back, downward facing. Stay with me, guys. Left foot forward, crescent lunge, left side. Aren't we having fun? Sweep your arms up. Hands to prayer at heart. Inhale the breath. You got to lean out a little and then hook the elbow and twist. So your back leg is set up like a plank. Or you're opting to give yourself a break and you're dropping your knee. Grip your left hip in. Your torso is long. And the crown of the head is lining up with your back right heel. Get in there. Something about this posture gets us every time. Breathe. As you exhale, twist a little deeper. 2 more. On the next exhale breath, look down, place both hands to the floor and pause. So you just take a second here to set up. Look forward for that block. Maybe you're going to use 2, maybe just 1. Bring your back leg up enough that your block comes underneath your right hand and you set up for revolved Ardha Chandrasana. Have your left palm on the flat part of your back. This gives you a good indication, like what's going on here. Good. Maybe both hands just stay down today. This is a good place to be. You can soften a little behind your left knee and then twist open. Lift from the inner thigh. Stack the left arm on top. And then breathe some energy into the inner back right thigh as you lift a little higher and you twist a little deeper. Hug your left hip in. Stay with it. Look down, both hands come to the floor. Walk your hands closer towards your left toes if possible. Take about a 3.5 foot step back with your right foot. Set up your right foot like a warrior 1. Bring your hands to your hips and at the same time pull yourself up. And then once you get up, maybe you need to rearrange a little bit. Like my left foot needed to go to the left a tad, hip points are forward, crawl your arms up towards the sky, anchor your feet, and then come halfway down. Find this extension. This is what we need, the back leg strong. And then the left hand comes back to the flat part of your back. And today, try this out. Right hand presses into your left shin. Yeah, and maybe you're up even a little higher today. That's cool. So play with it. Maybe you're down a little lower and your hand can kind of pull up on your ankle. This is a good one for you, Katie. Pull up on that front ankle and then lengthen and twist. Maybe the left arm can stack open. Nice. Really nice work. Breathe a lot of space into your upper torso and collarbone. Steer the hips back, twist a little deeper. 2 more. Look down, place both hands to frame your front foot and pause. Neutralize everything, let your head go. And then take your right hand and start to walk both hands to the left side. As you do this, you're just getting a subtle stretch to the right side of your body. Let your head go. And then take your right hand and stack it on top of your left palm, the top of the palm. Grip your right side in as you twist a little to the left, but keeping your pelvis really neutral and your head soft. Scoop out your belly. Press strong through your back leg. Walk back through central, neutralize yourself, step to a downward facing dog. When you get to down dog now, drop your forearms down. So you're in a forearm down dog, which is also known as a dolphin pose. Bring your elbows in a little closer. Breathe your hips up off your shoulders. Pause. Let your head just be free. Dolphin pose. Yes, you can soften behind your knees as much as you need, and you can tighten your stance a little bit. Stay with this, few breaths. Wrapping of your outer triceps in. See how you're doing. Mark, bring your elbows in a little closer. You're going to be perfect. Yes, and make sure the head isn't resting on the ground. Nice, Dara. Really nice, Kristen. So before we move on, you can breathe your right leg up, hip height. So lift your right leg up, hip height. Breathe it up. Keep the leg straight and flex your foot strong. There's a squeezing of your inner thighs and your waist is long. Keep looking forward if you can with your neck. And then just lower your right foot down. Let the toes hover the mat before it just comes straight down. So your right toes are hovering the mat. They hover, and then you lower it down. Try it on the left side. Breathe your left leg up. Breathe it up, only hip height. There's a hugging of the outside of your body in. Draw your belly and keep looking forward a little. And then start to lower your left leg slow. Let the toes hover the mat. See how that feels. And then lower the foot down. If you need to take a breather, drop your knees, take a child's pose for just a sec. Good, we're gonna add on. Press back now into your forearms for forearm plank. Forearm plank, yeah. You can drop your knees if forearm plank is just too aggressive. Keep the elbows in a little closer, guys, in forearm plank. Lengthen your tailbone. Lean onto your right arm now. The right arm can turn any direction, forearm side plank. You can also drop your bottom knee. So if having your right forearm straight forward doesn't feel good in the shoulder, turn it any direction that works for you. Good, now here in forearm plank, if you want to add on, left arm can stretch up and forward, but make sure your left hip doesn't open with you. And then lift your left foot just an inch. Let it hover the right foot, hold. Nice work. Lower the foot down, stretch the arm up, look down. Forearm plank, try not to let the hips waver too much. Stay with me, guys. Lean onto the left arm, turn the arm in any angle, roll to the outer blade, find your version of forearm plank. That may need to be dropping the knee. Stretch the right arm up if you want a little more. Lift from the hips. Then, if you want to float your right foot, just lift it like 2 inches. Lift a little bit more. And then lower the foot, slide the right arm up. Forearm plank, nice and slow. 3 breaths, lengthen the tailbone, spread the palms, broaden across the upper collarbone. Lower all the way to your belly for Sphinx pose. Good. So Sphinx pose, I love this posture. Your elbows come out a little bit further and you're just kind of standing up on your forearms. It's like how you can watch TV. Keep the neck nice and neutral. The more traditional way is to keep your feet together, but I actually find it compresses my spine. So separate your feet hips width distance, strong in your legs, and a pulling of your chest forward. Good. Just do this for a couple breaths. Sometimes you don't feel a lot in these postures, but it's what you need. Good. Now you're going to lower down and you're going to take your forearms like this at the top of your mat. You're going to stack them. Your forehead is going to rest on your forearm. Good. You're going to anchor your legs into the mat and you're going to lift just from your navel up. So your forearms are connected to the front of your head and you lift. Anchor your legs strong. Press firm through the tops of the feet and lift. Lift a little higher. Exhale the breath and lower down. Keep the feet and the legs down. Let's try it the other way. Switch the arms one more time. Legs don't lift, guys. Legs stay strong into the mat. Forehead touches the forearms. Big breath in. Exhale the breath, lift up. So just your torso's lifting. Strong legs, point the tops of the feet, head and forearm, making a connection. Lift a little higher. Exhale the breath, lower down. Stretch the arms back. Now stretch them back. Palms go flat, forehead rest. Keep the feet a little separated. Giant breath in. Everything can lift up off the ground. So you get to fly. Lift the torso, anchor the hips, lift up a little bit higher. Good. Exhale the breath, lower down. One more time. Repeat just that or full floor bow. Take a giant breath in. Exhale the breath. You can kick the feet, grab the ankles, kick up and back, or just repeat traditional lotus pose. Yes, lift up a little higher, locust pose. Squeeze the inner thighs together, flex the feet, kick into your hands. Smile. You're on camera. Exhale the breath, lower down. Slide your hands directly underneath your floating ribs, kind of underneath your, in between the space between your ribs and your belly button. Hug the elbows and curl the toes, activate your legs, press up to a plank, hips up and back, downward facing. I'm like working myself off the mat here. Yes, look in between your hands, step or float feet through and find your way down onto the floor. Good, I'm like my little nephew who's trying to roll over. Yeah, that's how I felt. Lay down on your backs, move your blocks with you. We're not going to back bending just yet. Give me 2 seconds. Bend your knees like this, like you're gonna go into a back bend. Good. So reach your arms forward and pause, like a little Pilates roll up. So reach them all the way forward, scoop out your belly, make sure you're not lifting from your neck. Good, keep the lift of the upper shoulders, lift your legs on an angle. Yes. Lift a little higher. Lower the feet down, lift higher up off the ground. Exhale the breath, lower down. So we'll just do a few of these to work our core. Normally do these in the beginning. Pull yourself up. Lift your legs on an angle, any angle that works. Bend your feet back down to the ground. Lift higher. Exhale the breath, lower down. Make sure you're not lifting from your neck, just from your core. Pull yourself up. Lift your legs on an angle. Pause here if you want to add on, join me. Lower your heels down so they tap. My shoulder blades are lifted and I'm scooping out my core. Lift the legs back up, pause. Lift a little higher. Bend your knees in half, take the feet back to the floor. Lift up 1 more inch. Exhale the breath, let it go. All right, 1 more, here we go. Pull ourselves up. Lift the legs on an angle. You can pause and be happy with this. Lower your heels so they tap. Lift the legs back up nice and slow. Bend the legs, take the feet back flat. Lift higher. Exhale the breath. Let it go. Perfect job. So walk the feet a little closer. Lift the tailbone up and work into your bridge. Bridge pose with the hands clasped is more traditional. Or block underneath your tailbone. So first bridge, then we'll move to wheel. So some version of a back bend here. And if that's just sitting on a block today, that is a-okay. Yeah, make sure the knees aren't collapsing. You want the feet straight forward. There's a turning of your thighs, but there's a length from your tailbone to the backs of your thighs. Exhale the breath, lower down. If you're on a block, you're welcome to just stay at this point, okay? Because we're going to do 2 more. And if you'd like to just do 2 more of supported bridge or regular bridge, that's cool. Moving on, flip your palms, bring your chin to your chest, take a giant breath in, exhale your breath, lift up. Just make sure, everyone, it's hard to see in your little Zoom boxes, but make sure your feet are only hips width distance, which is not the width of the mat for any of you. Yes. If you went up into a full wheel, tuck your chin, exhale your breath, come out. All right, 1 more for good luck. Here we go. Flip the palms, chin to chest, giant breath in, supported bridge is there for you too. Exhale the breath. Here we go. Looks really good, Mark. Yeah. Lift a little higher. Nice, Dara. The alignment looks great. Exhale your breath. When you are ready, you exit out. So lowering down nice and slow. Hug your knees to your chest if that feels good to you. Good. And then just take a couple rock and rolls on your back. Yeah, just kind of rock it out and come up to seat. And just come up to a seated position. And I want to give you kind of like free choice. So you could do single pigeon, double pigeon. You can go on your back and do ankle to knee on your back. But I want to do about 60 seconds on each side, maybe 75 seconds. So single pigeon is like this, guys. Double pigeon is seated. I'll just remind you of these options, right? 2 knees stack. More passive, you could just do like a crisscross applesauce and fold. Right, yeah, this works as well. You don't have to be so aggressive. Just make a box with your legs though and flex your feet and then fold. Just find something. I'll let you know when to switch. Perfect. It's hard to tell, Mark, but if there's like a really big space between your thigh, which is like basically the story of my life, and your foot, you can take a block or a pillow and play with this, because I find I get a lot more opening when something's there. If it doesn't work, it's fine. Just giving you a suggestion. Yeah, and keep the feet really flexed. Yeah, any angle, Marlene, with your torso. You don't even have to bend forward. Yeah, you could just stay upright. It's fine. Good, come up nice and slow, just switch sides. Just switch sides. So if you're in single, just go through a down dog. Yeah, flex the feet a lot. And then fold. Stay with it a drop longer, guys. Good, start to come up nice and slow. And as you come out, just come to a seat, extend your legs out. And this is probably one of my least favorite poses, but a seated forward fold. Try it with your feet and your legs hips width distance. Stretch your arms up, bend a little behind your knees, and then reach for your feet. And you might have a little bit more success with doing this with bent knees, and then fold. And if you can't grab the base of your feet, that's fine. Just drape your hands down and take the fold as much as you can. Pull yourself up nice and slow. Start to lower yourselves down on your back. If you feel that you need a spine twist here, just a basic spine twist on your back before you set up for Shavasana, please take that right now. If not, make yourself comfortable. I put my sweatshirt back on. Yeah, slide your hands, your blocks underneath your thighs, and just find rest, complete restoration. Nothing else to do, just be still. and let go of your Ujjayi breath. And if you didn't make it all the way through the playlist, you can just go towards the end and find something soothing there. Take a deep breath in. Take a loud sigh breath out. Bring your arms up over the top of the head. If you're not ready, ignore this and just stay there. Hug your knees to your chest. And bring yourself up in your own way, in your own time, to a seated position or however you're most comfortable to finish the practice. Keep the eyes closed if available. Bring the hands to a prayer. Bow your head for a moment. Have gratitude. Be grateful for this practice, for yourself, for your health, for this time. Lift your head, open your eyes. Namaste. As always, it's a pleasure spending Saturday mornings with you. I will catch you soon. Have a great holiday, and I'll be around.